Tonight, the man who prosecutors say admitted to intentionally starting the Old Trails fire and several others back in court today, but not for his arraignment. What needs to happen first?
We are in weather impact alert mode as air quality issues continue and breezy winds over the next couple of days renew fire weather concerns.
And it may look safe, but it's not. That's the sheriff's warning about the evacuations caused by the Spokane complex fires, how long it could actually take, and why. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 News at 5 o'clock tonight. I'm Cody Proctor. Mark is on special assignment tonight. Well, the explosive new court documents show the 37-year-old man charged with intentionally starting the Old Trails fire in Spokane has admitted to being a serial arsonist. That fire contributed to more than 800 structures being destroyed since last Saturday. Sebastian Robertson is joining us now live at the Spokane County Courthouse with the new details from the suspect's court appearance today. And Sebastian, what else did you learn tonight?
Well, Cody, the case against Aaron Farinacci has grown significantly. Prosecutors allege that he confessed to starting dozens of fires in Spokane since summer of last year. They were able to charge him with 4 additional counts of arson. In the court documents, he's said to have told investigators that he specifically picked August 1st to start what would become the Old Trails fire because he knew it was hot and dry and would burn fast.
Tonight, the man who prosecutors say admitted to intentionally starting the Old Trails fire and several others back in court today.
Please rise.
Thank you. Please be seated.
The newly filed court documents paint the picture of a troubled man obsessed with fire who spent 2 weeks meticulously planning out what would become the destructive Old Trails fire.
To know that all could have been avoided is heartbreaking, man.
Records show shortly after his arrest, Farinacci told police he hadn't started any fires. But an hour and a half into the interview, he started talking. He admitted being a serial arsonist who'd set 25 fires near his Spokane apartment since last year. He told investigators fire is powerful, beautiful, and symbolizes a kind of rebirth.
They do find probable cause for the amended charges and finding probable cause at this time.
Spokane prosecutors now charging him with 5 counts of arson, including for intentionally starting the Aubrey White fire in July of 2025, which grew to more than 1,200 acres. Investigators say tips from the public first led them to Farinacci. Deputies contacted him the day the Old Trails fire started and found him carrying waterproof matches and a lighter, but didn't yet have enough evidence to arrest him.
I'm disgusted. Like I said, we sat in our car for 3 hours in the Safeway parking lot, waiting it out with our 10-year-old in the back seat asking, are we going to be okay? What's going on? So something that she's going to remember for the rest of her life, and knowing somebody caused that is horrible.
Investigators say Farinacci admitted he knew arson was an easy crime to get away with if you have time. Farinacci is a convicted felon who spent 12 years in prison in Arizona, convicted of killing his father. He did not enter a plea today because the defense asked for a stay 24 hours to evaluate if he is competent to stand trial. Back to you.
Sebastian, thank you so much. Now at 3 o'clock this afternoon, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office held a press conference to update on the evacuation levels due to the fires. That is where we can find our Brandon T. Jones tonight. He was at that press conference this afternoon and is joining us now live. And Brandon, what was the big message tonight coming from the sheriff?
Well, Cody, Sheriff Knoll says he really wanted to use this day to address any concerns about evacuation levels and the fact that they haven't dropped yet down to allow people to return home. He says he understands people are upset about that fact, but ultimately he pointed out that conditions still are not safe for individuals to return. Again, he says he understands people are reasonably angry as they try to get back into their neighborhoods to address their property. Many folks still have no idea whether their home survived these flames or not. But the sheriff's office says these zones are still very active. He also pointed out today fires have popped up in the Indian Trail area.
I would like to point out to the public that those firefighters who are in those zones, cooling down those hot spots, they are wearing full self-contained breathing apparatuses because of the hazardous materials that are airborne, hazardous materials that are introduced into the air when people go through those areas, things that are very, very toxic and very, very dangerous to humans.
Yeah, Sheriff Knowles did point out in this press conference that a small section of town today was likely to drop from level 3 down to level 2 evacuations. He said that is a small portion of town, though. In terms of the rest of the evacuation levels, he says there's potential those may not lower for weeks. He pointed out that there's hazardous conditions left behind from the fires and saying the immediate danger, it might not be obvious to the eye, but it is absolutely there and it is absolutely not safe. He says they will adjust evacuation levels when they are confident there is no further danger present, and he doesn't expect any of those evacuation levels to change, at least not through this weekend. For now, they're reporting live here in Spokane County. Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you so much. And now let's get a look at those evacuation levels at the last check tonight. There are still large areas under those level 3 go now evacuations. That's in the red right there, prompted by each of the 3 major fires. Crews did downgrade several evacuation orders to level 2. Get set. Those are right there on your screen. Those are in the yellow right there. For a more detailed look at these evacuation levels, go to our website. That's KREM.com. And of course, let's take a look now at our forecast tonight, because a huge factor in these fires is the weather. We've been lucky the last few days, as meteorologist Michelle Boss knows all too well, but the next few more days could be a bit tricky.
Yeah, so the past couple of days, the winds have been light. Temperatures were a little bit cooler, but now we're back into the 90s, so we have the heat. It remains very dry. We continue to have air quality concerns. We'll take a look at that map in just a moment. And over the next couple of days, we are looking at some elevated winds. Not really any strong winds. These wouldn't be notable under regular summer circumstances without wildfires, but with the ongoing wildfires, we are looking at wind gusts in that 20 to 30 mile per hour range, and any increased wind could cause more dangerous conditions because of those wildfires. Still very hazy and smoky out there, and don't expect any improvements anytime soon. We could see fluctuating air quality levels as the winds pick up, but overall the smoke is going to be sticking around. And right now, Spokane and Kootenai County seeing air quality in the unhealthy for sensitive groups. But as you see the darker reds out across central Washington and the purples, those indicate even worse air quality out across the North Cascades. Today, generally winds have been light. We've seen a few gustier breezes this afternoon, but that's due to the mixing during the afternoon. Those winds will settle back down overnight, but then pick back up tomorrow and Saturday, so red flag warnings will be in place across most of eastern Washington for the gusty winds and the very dry conditions. Also, air quality alerts will continue until further notice, as the smoke's not going anywhere and it's just hot and dry out there. We got 90s today, and those 90s are going to be sticking around through Friday and Saturday, maybe even Sunday as well. It's going to be clear, otherwise smoky and hazy. No actual clouds out there for tonight and tomorrow, but high temperatures in the mid 90s tomorrow, 90 on Saturday, and in the upper 80s on Sunday.
Next on KREM 2 News tonight, a volunteer firefighter lost her home in the Indian Trail neighborhood to the fires. What she did next, coming up.